So when Jason and I started on this adventure, I heard about our next guest speaker. Little did I know what a gem she is here in Oceanside. And working so closely with her, you could see how passionate she is about what she does.
Yeah, for our final speaker this morning, Melanie and I wanted to be on stage together to publicly also thank her, because the vision of what we had for the opening and what you're going to see for the closing could not have been done without her hard work. And she traveled with us, spent time with us, setting up all the equipment, and on top of that, preparing for her speech. So please give a warm welcome
to our National Board Certified Teacher,
Audrey
Miller.
Miller.
It's all really good. It's really good. Okay. Hi. All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Audrey Miller. I have been a teacher for 30 years, but I have been a lifelong learner for 51 years. So yes, I'm going to be 52 in January. I do not like that math. I got to tell you, lately I've been feeling very old, both personally and professionally. I just kind of lost the joy in what I was doing. Doubt was like a weight on my shoulder. It was hunching me over. I was becoming this old crotchety person. I was okay, just not doing anything new, just standing there being old. But we've all felt like that, haven't we? But just think for a moment about when you were young. You were imaginative, you were fearless. You could do anything, and you focused on the goals, not the obstacles. Don't believe me? Try this experiment. Leave a toddler alone in a room with a jar of cookies on a very high shelf. Oh, that toddler is going to use every ounce of ingenuity to get to those cookies without any qualms about the dangers. Oh, there we go. Now, any adult walking in on that is going to do what? Oh yeah, we're going to freak out because we know that that kid's going to break his neck. But what does he do? Yeah, he laughs at us. He does. He doesn't understand what the problem was. This was a touchdown. He saw that goal and he made it, and he didn't have any fears. So why don't we have fears whenever we're a child? Because when you're little, you believe that you can do anything. You can be anyone, a dancer, an astronaut, an artist. Heck, my older son, Brendan, he wanted to be a fire truck. Why is going? You know, my whole lesson today is about perseverance in the face of things not going well. So I meant to do this. This was a learning experience. You're welcome. Okay. So my older son, he wanted to be a fire truck whenever he was little. Now, I was not going to destroy his dreams. I said, Brendan, you go be the loudest, fastest fire truck you want to be. Now, as adults, we've been taught that there are limitations. Bad experiences make us doubt ourselves. So stop being a grown-up. Believe that all things are possible. Now, secretly, I laughed at Brendan for wanting to be a fire truck because, I mean, really. But if I would have just seen it from his perspective, I would be retired right now, because it would have been me and not Hasbro that made hundreds of millions of dollars off of living fire trucks. Yeah, I'm talking about Transformers. Obviously, somebody else wanted to be a fire truck too. The difference is that they saw the possibilities and they turned it into a reality. So believe in your out-of-the-box idea. You're probably not alone. But why don't we believe in our ideas? Why do we get jaded? Why is it so hard to find the fun anymore? Why do we have to grow old just because we've grown up? Part of it is in our perspective. I have another son, Brian. Semper Fi, yeah. Now, at his boot camp graduation, all these other young men were calling Brian over to them, wanting him to meet their families, and they all said the same thing. If it hadn't been for Brian, they don't think that they would have made it. There was one guy in particular who the drill sergeant fondly referred to as City Boy. In North Carolina, City Boy is not a good term. So every day, the drill sergeant figured out a way to send City Boy to IT, individualized training. Now, for those of you not familiar with that term, IT means that you get sent to this large sandy area. Now, we are not talking about beautiful Caribbean white sand. No, we're talking about coarse, dirty, disgusting brown sand in 90-degree temperatures, where you have to do sit-ups and push-ups and burpees, anything that's going to make that sand stick to your body and just irritate. IT is miserable. And every day City Boy was being sent there. It was to the point that he was going to quit. Till my Brian said to him, "Hey, buddy, you are looking at this all wrong. Remember when you were a little kid and you couldn't wait to play in the sandbox? That's how you have to think of this. And you are going to get so jacked with muscles that the ladies are going to love you. It is going to be fun, trust me." So the next day, something happens. City Boy gets sent to IT. And one thing you should know about my Brian is that he is a master at pushing people's buttons. So guess who else got sent to IT? So here's my Brian running to catch up to City Boy going, "Playtime, playtime, playtime, playtime." They had a killer workout session, giggled like little kids, and that horrible sand pit was transformed into a glorious sandbox. Pretty soon, the other recruits wanted to join them. The drill sergeant was like Oprah, "And you go to the pit, and you go to the pit, and you go to the pit." Eventually, he stopped sending Brian and City Boy because it had no power over them. So he taught me, sometimes you have to make your own fun, and it's always helpful if you bring the right people into your sandbox. So back to my fire truck son, Brendan. Brendan was always a fearless child. When he was about 7 years old, he had the opportunity to meet the then governor of New York State, George Pataki. I bought him a suit, I prepped him, I wanted him to make a good impression. He had all these questions he was going to ask, like, what was the governor going to do to fund schools better, and how was he going to help teachers? Oh yeah, I was so proud. So the time comes for them to meet, and he looks him right in the eye and he says, "Do you play pool?" Does he play pool? Oh, I couldn't believe it. He missed such an opportunity. So I said to him, "Brent, why did you ask the governor if he played pool instead of something important?" He told me that if he and the governor were playing a game, he'd have more time together, and he could ask all of his questions instead of just one. I felt like an idiot. I mean, he had a plan. It wasn't my plan, it was better. And he wasn't afraid to challenge someone, even someone that you think is important. So he taught me some of the best solutions are not the obvious ones. And of course, there's going to be people that say, "That's not what I would do." No, it's not. Because remember, you are unique and you are creative and you have to be fearless. Fight for your ideas. Everybody's path is different. Make your own. So I have tried to embrace these lessons of my children, and in walks Beth Zirianis. And she says, "Hey, for conference day, we're going to have teachers do TED-style talks. You would be awesome. You should do it." I was like, okay. She said, "Todd's going to do one too." I was like, awesome. Safety in numbers. It's going to be great. So fast forward till it's too late to back out. And then she says, "Oh, by the way, we're going to have 3 state teachers of the year, and one of them helped to build clean drinking wells for children in Africa." What? No! I can't compete with that. Oh, come on, seriously? And every bit of doubt was popping into my head. Every reason why I would fail was there. I was not being fearless. I couldn't imagine anything but failure. There was no playtime, and my sandbox was a pit, and I was sinking fast. Every insecurity is coming in there. And then you get that little voice that says stuff to you, like, everybody else is more accomplished than you. You've never done this before. What makes you think you can do it? You know you're going to look stupid and fat. Oh, yeah, I went there. Oh, yeah. We've all been there. We've all been there. You got this great idea, you're so excited, and then doubt pops into your head. And then you start sinking. And then there's always that one person, that person that has already grown old emotionally, who starts putting obstacles in your way, trying to convince you that what you're doing isn't worth it, or even worse, trying to convince other people that what you're doing isn't worth it, so they're not going to help you. And it is so easy to give up, right? I mean, why put yourself through that? But you have to say to yourself, if I don't try, I will eliminate any opportunity for success. If I don't try, I will rapidly grow old and bitter and just make excuses and wonder what if. It's hard. It takes a lot of heart to pull yourself up out of that pit. It's pure cardio. It's like CrossFit for the soul. Yeah. But just like that boot camp sandbox, you do have a choice. Think about the reasons why. Why did you want to do it? Why is it important? Focus on those goals. So I said to the little voice in my head, I said, oh yeah? I am an accomplished teacher. And you know, I really do enjoy helping other teachers believe in themselves. This is just going to be a little bit bigger. Okay, a lot bigger. But it's going to be okay. And you know what? I might look stupid and fat, but it wouldn't be the first time. Right there. That was in the Herald. Yep. And I didn't die. So if the past holds true, I've embarrassed, it was. And then my students made it their screensaver. So if the past holds true, and I've embarrassed myself before, most likely I will survive this. Even if this goes horrifically wrong, I'm going to be okay. And I doubt that my obituary is going to list my cause of death as embarrassment. Yep. It's going to be a story. Everything that happens in life is either a success or a learning experience, but it's going to be a story to tell. So, here I am on the big stage. Full disclosure, I decided to practice by taking chances in my personal life that were creative and pushed the boundaries. Back in August, I took a course to learn with a bunch of people I'd never met before to learn a new computer design program in Alaska. For 2 weeks, we hiked through Alaska, we learned new things, we took pictures, I saw a moose. But the scariest part, the most frightening part, was that I was almost 30 years older than the other students and 10 years older than the teachers. It was very intimidating, but I did it. And because I did, I was able to camp at Denali National Park. This is our boy band picture. As you can see, the pack had accepted me as one of their own. Speaking of packs, I would have never held a sled dog. Oh, held a sled dog. I know, so cute. Or met the mayor of Talkeetna, who is a cat. You can Google that. I would have never seen breathtaking landscapes. And because I went, I was able to put a check mark on my bucket list next to see the aurora borealis. It was amazing. I felt like a kid again. So I challenge you. Remember what it was like to be a kid. Believe in the possibilities. Find the fun in things. Be creative. And most importantly, you want to keep that positive attitude so that your glorious sandbox stays intact. The results are going to be gigantic. And when you do finally get to the end of your journey here on Earth, you are going to have an outstanding story. Thank you.